Hi, boys and girls. Before we get started with our story today, I wanted to go over a few things that were important in the last couple chapters. The first thing is there's a new animal added to the Big Top Mall Museum, and her name is Ruby. She's a little elephant. Also, the last couple chapters, we've been talking about Ivan, and all he's been drawing are yellow bananas. So finally he drew something else. It was this beetle. And the important part of that was that somebody noticed that it was a beetle. They knew what it was. Do you remember who that was in the story? Remember, it was the little girl, Julia. So we'll see how that makes a difference now that the adults think that Ivan knows what he's drawing. When Julia comes, she sits by Stella's domain and watches the new baby. She barely talks to me. Stella doesn't talk to me either. She's too busy nuzzling Ruby. She is cute, little Ruby, with her ears flapping like palm leaves, but I am handsome and strong. Bob trots a circle around my belly before settling down in just the right spot. Give it up, Ivan, he says. You're old news. Julia gets a piece of paper out and a pencil. I can see that she's drawing Ruby. I move to the corner of my domain to pout. Bob grumbles. He doesn't like it when I disrupt his naps. Homework, Julia's father scolds. Julia sighs and puts her drawing aside. I grunt and Julia glances in my direction. Poor old Ivan, she says. I've been ignoring you, haven't I? I grunt again, a dignified, indifferent grunt. Julia thinks for a moment and then smiles. She walks over to my domain to the spot in the corner where the glass is broken. She slides papers through. She rolls a pencil across my cement floor. You can draw the baby elephant too, Julia says. I bite the pencil in half with my magnificent teeth, and then I eat some paper. How do you think Ivan is feeling right now? Do you think Ivan is mad, sad, angry, jealous, impatient? Pick a word from one of those words I just said. Which one do you think it is? I think Ivan might be jealous. Even after Julia and her father leave, I try to keep sulking, but it's no use. Gorillas are not by nature pouters. Stella, I call, it's a full moon. Did you see? Sometimes when we are lucky, we catch a glimpse of the moon through the skylight in the food court. I did, said Stella. She's whispering, and I realize that Ruby must be asleep. Is Ruby all right, I ask. She's too thin, Ivan, said Stella. Poor baby. She was in that truck for days. Mac bought her from a circus, the same one he bought me from. But she hadn't been there long. She was born in the wild like us. Will she be okay, I ask. Stella doesn't answer my question. The circus trainers chained her to the floor, Ivan, all 4 feet, 23 hours a day. I puzzle over why this would be a good idea. I always try to give humans the benefit of the doubt. Why would they do that, I finally ask. To break her spirit, Stella says. Now stop there for a minute. What do you think that means, to break her spirit? Do you think they're trying to harm her physically, or maybe her emotions? They want her to learn to balance on a pedestal so she could stand on her hind legs, so a dog could jump on her back while she walked in mindless circles. I hear her tired voice and I think of all the tricks Stella has learned. When I awake the next morning, I see a little trunk poking out between the bars of Stella's domain. Hello, said a clear voice. I'm Ruby, and she waves her trunk. Hello, I said. I'm Ivan. Are you a monkey? Ruby asks. Certainly not. Bob's ears perk up, although his eyes stayed closed. He's a gorilla, he says, and I'm a dog of uncertain heritage. Why did the dog climb on your tummy, says Ruby. Because it's there, Bob murmurs. Is Stella awake, I ask. Aunt Stella's asleep, Ruby said. Her foot is hurting, I think. Ruby turns her head. Her eyes are like Stella's, black and long-lashed. Bottomless lakes fringed by tall grass. When is breakfast, she asks. Soon, I said, when the mall opens and the workers come. Where? Where are the other elephants? Said Ruby. It's just you and Stella, I say for some reason. I feel we've let her down. Are there more of you? No, not at the moment, I said. Ruby picks up a piece of hay and considers it. Do you have a mom and a dad? Well, I used to. Everyone has parents, Bob said. It's unavoidable. Before the circus, I used to live with my mom and my aunts and my sisters and my cousins, said Ruby. She drops the hay, picks it up, and twirls it. But they're dead. I don't know what to say. I'm not really enjoying this conversation, but I could see that Ruby isn't done talking. To be polite, I say, I'm sorry to hear that, Ruby. Humans killed them, she said. Who else? Said Bob. We all fell silent. All morning, Stella strokes Ruby. She pats her, smells her. They flap their ears. They rumble and roar. They sway as if they're dancing. Ruby clings to Stella's tail. She slips under Stella's belly. Sometimes they just lean into each other, their trunks twirled together like jungle vines. Stella looks so happy. It's more fun to watch her than any nature show I've ever seen on TV. Okay, I'm going to stop there, boys and girls. When you get my letter in the mail, you're going to see there are 8 questions that go with the story that we're reading. I want you to try to answer them one at a time in a notebook or on a piece of paper. And then in the next couple days that I see you, we're going to start answering those questions and talking about them. Okay, I'll see you next time.